the reason why Nicaragua is able to maintain sovereignty is through food sovereignty. It is in making revolution sexy, and they have been very successful in creating spaces for youth to understand the importance of being a campesino, right? Of being a farmer in a way that is sustainable, that doesn't take away from one's connection to city life.
Para que se asustan será pa' mejor. Es el pueblo entero el que ya está gritando. ¡Viva la revolución!
Iranian nuclear weapons development.
They have turned the island into a communist hellhole.
The experiment in Venezuela has failed completely.
I'm gonna start with a quote from Don Mateo, who's a leader in the community. We had the privilege and the honor to stay with Comrade Don Mateo. He comes from a generation, right? And what I started to realize, and the thing that I found very beautiful, right, is Don Mateo comes from he makes up part of 4 generations of Nicaraguans that have been working towards food sovereignty, and also that have been supporting the FSLN government because the line that they hold aligns with the working class people. And he said, los que trabajan la tierra, nadie nos dominan, right? Those that work the land cannot be conquered, right? No one has dominion over them. And that stuck with me. Why? Because seeing the work that's being done in Borikén, right? Being a colony of the US, what does liberation, what does sovereignty look like? Being on this trip, shout out to Friends of the ATC. Again, if you have not, please follow Friends of the ATC, right? Is that one's relationship to the land is not disconnected from political education and building intergenerational work that makes it sustainable. And so what we learned is popular education, right? I'm a vegan, but that doesn't mean that the work that I do does not support community. I understand that not everyone's vegan. I made a personal choice, right? Like I understand that in Nicaragua, right, the products that they bring out come from the country, so it's a different connection to livestock. It's a different connection to land that does not exist in the U.S. and that does not exist in Borikén on a large level where it's systematically applied. Right. So like here in this picture, I was learning how to milk a cow. And it's through popular education, shout out to Paulo Freire, right, that there is a foundation on which there is this respect for wanting to pass down esta vida campesina, right? This farmer life, to make it attractive, because the reason why Nicaragua is able to maintain sovereignty is through food sovereignty. It is in making revolution sexy, and they have been very successful in creating spaces for youth to understand the importance of being a campesino, right? Of being a farmer in a way that is sustainable, that doesn't take away from one's connection to city life. Because there's also this concept of campesina, urbano, urbane, urbana, right? A rural farmer, right? And this relates to all the work that I've been doing, right? In Miami, we helped to build to address the issues of food deserts through building out gardens in the community so that communities have access to food. Why? Because most of the things that people have access to in our communities in Empire are potato chips and things that don't necessarily build one's health. And here, what we see is not only are they building schools and universities in El Campo, where farmers live, to make education accessible, but they're also creating it in a way that doesn't take away from being a farmer. So like Comrade Khalil was sharing, right? Those that live on the farm, they have a different school schedule than those that would live in the city. Why? Because it's a different lifestyle. So they're addressing a particular situation with a universal model, which is scientific socialism, right? And being able to see that is such a beautiful thing. Working with comrades in Borikén, right? We are in the process of building educational sites that that allow individuals to get an understanding of our fight for independence. But also, there is a movement. There's an agro-ecological movement because there's an Ayala in Borikén, right? That's helping to build an agrarian movement that is rooted in popular education, that is mimicking what has been done in Venezuela, what is being done in Nicaragua, what is being done in Cuba, Brazil, Argentina, right? Which is what? If we want actual freedom, it does not come at the expense of codependency on empire. It actually comes on dependency on countries that already have sovereignty, that understand that we are working towards independence, right? So when Borikén becomes free, because we're in the process of that lucha, right, it will be with Nicaragua, it will be with Venezuela, it will be with Cuba, China, North Korea. Why? Yeah. Because these countries understand that our principal struggle is against the empire.